Hey guys, this is King Ruthless, and I'm pretty excited to bring you this next StarCraft 2 commentary. It's going to be another Terran versus Protoss, but this time I have the honor of casting for you none other than LastShadow. He is taking up the moniker Yosh, who is his the guy who taught him, I guess, how to play StarCraft, the guy who kind of guided him on. So this is a pretty exciting game to cast, by the way, because his opponent for this game is, MVPGenius. This is according to the replay pack that I found on teamliquid.net. I'll link the thread below. I was looking through the replay names, and I downloaded the file pack on Rapid Share, thinking, okay, so, what would be a pretty interesting game just to cast straight up? I'm just going to look at the names of the guys he plays, and there's a lot of high-up names in there. He's even played SKMC, tons of other high-level Protosses, and then we see MVPGenius. He's been on a tear lately, just doing so much work. And PvP or in PvT as well. Genius is just damn good. I mean, his PvT is pretty sick. So I was looking forward to seeing. Okay, so I saw the Day 9 daily. We were talking about LastShadow's sort of 6 racks Marine aggression in Terran versus Protoss. Kind of how you've set the Protoss player behind with this. I think it's about like a 7 or 8 minute aggression, because you do the scan, I believe, at 6 minutes and 30 seconds, and then you do aggression, I think, at the 8 minute mark, right when the Protoss player will be making something like DTs, or a little bit before that, actually, because I don't think that DTs come out until maybe 8:15 at the earliest. But I was pretty excited to cast these series. And by the way, if you guys have not seen the Day 9 daily kind of covering LastShadow, you definitely should. It's especially for all the Terran players out there crying that TVP is impossible. I don't know how to do it. It gets into late game and there's just no way to play it. Well, here's a cool thing about Terran that I've been, kind of jumping on the bandwagon with, because I saw this in I think it was Marine King versus someone like OGSMC or SKMC. Marine King just kind of did this Marine Marauder aggression, and it threw off the Protoss player so much, kept his army so little, that he just was able to continuously reinforce with these Marines and Marauders, and really kept the Protoss army so small, so limited. Protoss was not able to get those higher tech units. Now, there's an importance to what I'm kind of going on about here, with Protoss not being able to make that many higher tech units. The importance is you want to limit the Protoss gas potential. If Protoss is able to get out as many Colossi, as many Archons, Templars as he wants, then you might be in some big trouble late game. But if you're able to put a damper on that, I guess in the early and mid game, force him to make units that cost a lot of gas, delay his tech, it gives you an advantage into the mid and potentially late game. So a pretty standard opening here from LastShadow. He actually does get, I think, a command center on 17, and as soon as he gets down a bunker. So I think that's pretty neat there. He does have a bunker here at the front, just so that someone like Genius can't just kind of push up in there. Get any free scouting. I noticed that he always likes to put this bunker up front. Terrans, if you're going to go for a fast expand, even if you're not, you're going to go for some sort of cheese. Putting a barracks up here, or a bunker up here actually, wards off a lot of scouting for your opponent. So it's really difficult for your opponent to do as you would like. And wow, LastShadow actually going for a third command center in the situation. This is kind of new, and here we go. It looks like there are 2 more barracks on the way. Notice that LastShadow has not gotten any gas yet. He's focusing solely on getting out tons of SCVs and tons of Marines. So we see here that, second gas is being taken here for MVPGenius. He's chrono boosting out that Cybernetics core, so it should be done here shortly if he wants to apply any pressure or just to defend against any sort of early pressure from his Terran opponent. Most likely he's using this for defensive purposes, since there's not a lot of, gateways about to be... There's not a lot of units out on the map, that's what I'm trying to say. So there's not that big of a chance for early aggression from Genius, but we will have to see exactly what he scouts. I can definitely see him kind of scouting with these 2 Stalkers, seeing if he can get map control, seeing if he can tell exactly what his opponent is up to. So he definitely has the minerals and gas and supply to warp in if he needs to, but he's actually going to go for a fast, what is that, a Templar Archives? No, it's the Twilight Council. Sorry guys, I don't play Protoss that often, obviously. And a robotics facility, so we're going to see some dual tech route here. This is pretty nice. You're able to get up your observers or warp prisms. I definitely see this, for either Blink Observer, or you could do something like DT drops. It really just depends. I mean, of course, you could do it very standard. You could get Blink, but you could also get Observers and be more passive with it. That's just what I tend to see in TVP. but we'll see what both players decide to do. It looks like MVPGenius is kind of content to sort of sit here at these watchtowers. He is going for Blink, so if we do see an Observer pop out here shortly, it will be Blink Observer, obviously. SCV coming out here towards the middle to scout, and as well as Probe, kind of, they might cross paths here. But let's kind of see what LastShadow's doing back in his base in the meantime. We have an engineering bay going down in the front. We do have our 2 gases which have gone down, which have allowed this tech lab to be built, as well as this stim pack, and there's a factory going down. So I don't think that LastShadow's going to do his patented 6 barracks aggression. I feel like he's just going to do something like, well, you know, I have no idea what he could potentially be doing. This engineering bay is part of the wall off, but it could start going to something like +1, or make missile turrets up here at the front in case he believes, yeah, that DTs might come shortly. So yeah, in fact, he is making a missile turret. This will keep him safe against any sort of DT harass. But notice that the 3rd command center has come down here, and it's probably not going to get scouted. So let's kind of see where the observer is out on the map. I think it is being made here very shortly. Here's the first observer being made on the map. And I don't believe it's going to scout the 3rd base. In fact, that's not on the path for the observer. I think it's going to come in here, kind of scout and see what the tech is. It'd be very unfortunate for LastShadow if this was scouted before he had the chance to knock down these rocks. So really feel like the LastShadow here trying to hedge on the fact that he's not going to get scouted over here, and he's actually bringing over his factory. We see the observer kind of moving up to this corner. I guess this would be a pretty popular place to blink at. And the Stalkers, as you can see, are just kind of parked out here, making sure that Marines and Marauders don't leave the base. But here comes the Observer. Looks like the blink has completed. He is going to blink up into the base and get a pretty good scout to see exactly what's going on. Immediately going to focus fire on the Tech Lab. And this is going to stop any upgrades that LastShadow may have wanted to get. But I feel like these Stalkers didn't quite get as much done as they would have liked, but if they blink down here, oh man, they're actually going to scout this orbital. It is going to be forced to lift off. These SCVs are going to have to repair. And the medevacs, actually, they're coming out front, and they're going to get picked off. Oh man, this is looking bad. So it looks like the Stalkers are going to kill the rest of these SCVs and mules. Let's look back at the income tab. It's still 48 to 47, so he's not that far behind. He was forced to just evacuate and go elsewhere. So we do have a missile turret going down here just to make it even more difficult for this observer to allow these blink sort of playstyles. And losing those 2 medevacs was huge, actually. That's a lot of gas that LastShadow did invest. And man, here comes a lot of SCVs as well. It looks like LastShadow is going to push out here. I don't mind this play because if you go for something like blink and observer, it's going to be not very likely you're going to have Colossus with extended thermal lance anytime soon. And you're definitely not going to have charge in time unless you're just, rushed to it. Which means that your Stalker count is obviously not going to be that high. Now, the Observer was able to help get this missile turret picked off, but I guess the bigger story here is this big all-in coming. So, there are sentries here to force field. It's not going. I guess he's just going to lift up and go straight into the main with these medevacs, as well as going to keep a couple of units out here out front to sort of force the army to force field off at this ramp. But meanwhile, the Marine and Marauder force is going to come in here, pick off a pylon maybe. Yes, he is going to pick off a pylon, and that unpowers the robotics facility, and they're going to come into this base, start picking off, warping in units, immediately going to go for the sentries. And from this point, as long as he's able to pick off the sentries, he can just kind of pick up and move elsewhere. But we also have the Marines and Marauders at the front. And I think, Genius kind of trying to go for this hidden nexus. I'm not sure if that's the right play to do here. These Stalkers are going to come back, and they're going to start to focus fire. Well, they're not really focus firing the medevac that well. In fact, a lot of them going down, and these medevacs are still alive. This drop in the base is still around. It's still alive and kicking. And LastShadow there just did a lot of damage. In fact, he killed so many Stalkers. The army has pretty much been reset. And the Bioforce here for LastShadow is still in the base, still causing mayhem. So behind this, he's being able to get out another army. And he's effectively killed off a lot of... he's destroyed the pylon that was powering the robotics facility. 2 of these gateways are going to go down. And, the drop's finally picked up by these Blink Stalkers and this Immortal. But look at the tech route that, that Genius can really go. He's going to have to go for more of a gateway-centric build. He does have his 1-1 about to complete here. In fact, it looks like ground levels level 1 is about to complete. He doesn't have enough for a +1 armor. He's decided not to go for that. Now it's a pretty small army out here at the front for LastShadow, so I'm not really sure what his options really are here. he did lose that orbital command. He is building 2 more command centers, so it's going to be a while before he can expand. And in this position, he's going to want to play a little bit more passively until he's able to get up that Bioforce and get out that medevac count. But to my audience to see, we actually see our first ghost on the map. We see 3 ghosts on the map. So here comes another big push from LastShadow. And with these ghosts in the mix, I don't think Storm's done. No, he's forced to morph into Archons. This is going to be a pretty sick follow-up. So if LastShadow controls this correctly, he should be able to do considerable damage. In fact, it looks like he's going to go and chase off these Stalkers. He's going to force them back at the very least. And he's going to run up in here with his units, kind of poke in with 2 Marauders. He gets off a sick EMP, and there's not enough charge slots here. There's too many Marines and Marauders. Another EMP goes down, and that'll do it for the game. MVPGenius gets a GG. And I don't really know what to tell you guys there. I mean, I was talking about the 6 racks, Eric's aggression there that LastShadow is going to do, and he ended up doing something completely different. So it's pretty interesting to see sort of that Marine Marauder aggression. We can go look back at his infrastructure here. It looks like he did have 5 barracks total with this engineering bay. He did have +1 completed, and he was starting his medevac production. Wasn't able to make that much because of the ghost production as well. And he's only on 2 bases. I'm not even sure if he's really mining this gas. No, he really wasn't. So that might have had something to do with the inability to produce as much as he would have liked. But anyways, that will do it for the game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I've been your caster as always, King Ruthless. Be sure to rate, subscribe, comment, and favorite. Be sure to send your feedback. If you'd like to see more of these kinds of games, let me know. Send me replays yourself, or link me to replay packs, and I'll be happy to cast them. Well, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.